Nauvoo, Illinois in 1841 by parents who were Georgia and Tennessee, and they were some of the earliest converts to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Where they moved to Nauvoo, they lived kitty corner from the prophet Joseph. And Joseph and the king and his wife really far from space. But tumultuous times back then, they had to leave Nauvoo and they went far west. And then from there, they came to the Salt Lake Valley. Moses Arnold was Emma's father. He was actually a lot of settlements. He went from American Fork to Fairview to Mount Pleasant to Fillmore was the state capital back then, or the Utah territory. And then, when we lived in Fillmore, I was hired as a housekeeper there. And that's how I met James. He was a freighter that was just traveling around. And he laid eyes on me and decided he wanted to marry me. But he already had a wife and a child in American Fork. That he wasn't going to be a polygamist, but he fell in love with me then and there. I went back with him to American Fork with the other wife, and we eventually came to Mount Pleasant. We lived in the fort. We had a dugout in the fort. Because of the Indians, we had to stay safe in that fort. And it was all around, it had a rock barrier to keep us safe from the Indians. It was in the 1860s when we were allowed to go out and move. And my husband, James Harvey Tidwell, has built a cabin down on the Sanders River, which is called the Bottoms there. There were a lot of families, the Nielsen's, the Johansons, the Seeleys, they all lived down where the bottoms of the river. And they had their own stories. James Harvey had a wife uptown and a wife down at the bottoms. Emma knew all about herbs, and so she was called on a lot of times to nurse the sick families that lived down in the bottoms. Her husband died when he was only 52. He was on a trip over the mountain, and so she was left widow. She was frightened by the Indians. The cabin didn't have any windows, glass windows. They had cubby that covered the windows. And the Indians would come and they would say, "Piggy, sugar." And so Brigham Young at that time would say, well, it was easier to feed the Indians than it was to feed. So he told them, the pioneers, to go ahead and feed. He died at 42. Army died at 52, and she was a widow for a long time. There is an interesting story about Emma having that cabin down by the Moroni mill. She lost one of her children, and after she died, they say that haunted hill, she would float back and forth over the river looking for a child. She lost it. Her parents, Amanda Fawcett and Moses Martin, they, from Fairview, they went to Fillmore, and from Fillmore, they went to St. George because Moses Martin had been called to help build the St. George Temple. And Amanda Armstrong Fawcett went on with her family down to Tonto Basin, Arizona. And I have been there. And somebody told me that it was a cemetery full of rattlesnakes. And they were one. I didn't see any rattlesnakes, but I could surely see that there were rattlesnakes there. Amanda Fawcett's patriarchalness was a blessing for me because it said that she and her posterity, because she was so willing to move all different places, she would be her posterity. That's all I've got. Have you got any questions?
Thank you.